I want to thank our loyal, positive fans that come out and support us. We got a great crowd. I want to make sure that we thank them and don't take them for granted because they've been outstanding. We had a great crowd again today. Obviously, the game was a battle. That's a good football team. You can see they've gotten better every single year. I got a lot of respect for Coach Allen. I think he's done a great job there. At the end of the day, it came down to what we call our critical stats, and we did a great job with them. We won all 4 of them that we talk about all the time. We won the field position battle. We won the turnover battle this week. We won the penalty battle. We only had 1 penalty. Again, we had been one of the most disciplined teams in the country for a long period of time. That's showing up again. And then we won the explosive play battle, which was great. So all those things I think kind of really jumped out to me. Journey Brown with 100 yards rushing. Sean Clifford is making plays with both his arm and his feet, which has been great. And Marquise Wilson's coming in and doing some really good things. He's a guy that's really ball aware, and I think that's really important for us. He's a guy that we think could play wide receiver or defensive back. He's just ball aware and created another fumble today. So just a bunch of good stuff going on. End of the game, obviously for our offense to go on an 18-play drive, haven't been around many of them. 18-play drive at a critical point in the game, burned timeouts, ate the clock up, finished it with a touchdown at the 1-yard line, which we decided to go for on 4th down after burning another 40 seconds to go. Up by 3, field goal would have only put us up by 6. Obviously, touchdown, would have forced them, would have put them in a position to win the game. So that's why we went for it. Also, they'd have to go 99 yards with no timeouts. Again, it was the right decision. Why? Thank you all. Trust me, I get a lot of stuff.
Open up to questions, raise your hand, we'll get
questions.
James, we've talked a lot over the years about 4-minute drives in these exact same situations. Why was the offense effective in the 9-minute drive? What was going on with the offensive line? Why were you guys able to sustain all that?
Well, I think we've improved on the O-line and the tight end position. I think you guys have heard me talk about this before, but 2 years ago, it was very important to me for our program, not just for the offense, but for our program, that we go to have some 12 personnel in our package. And the 12 personnel, we just have, can they always put one more guy in the box? Yes, but it gives you a little bit more of a sophisticated running game. Some of the gap counter stuff that we're doing. We're still able to do some stuff, our RPO stuff with the bluffs, which is difficult. We also think we got 2 really good tight ends and also guys behind them. We're starting to develop that position to be a position of power. And the reality is, it's also what everybody really wants since I got here. It's essentially a what? Fullback. That's what it is. So, that's for you, Neil. So, the second tight end is essentially a fullback that you can use as a lead blocker, that you can use in terms of a second puller in your counter game. And then also we have the ability to line up and play those guys like wide receivers. So I think that's been big. So for us, we just have more sophistication in our running game. So we're able to run a more traditional 4-minute. And I think it helps our defense as well. Because our defense sees things from our offense that they're going to see throughout the year. So I think all those things have played a part in it.
Is going under center then ever an option? Just throwing it out there.
Now they want under center. But let me say this: we've kind of talked about this before, and I think I've said this to you guys, but if not, let me just say this. The one thing I'll say about it, and I get the under center, though. To me, the one advantage of under center is a quarterback sneak. Besides that, you can't make an argument. Because the reality is whether you snap the ball to the quarterback and he hands it off about 3.5 to 4 yards, or the quarterback turns around and reaches it back, the running back gets it at almost exactly the same distance. And by being in the gun, now the quarterback can ride and pull it and come off the edge to keep the defense honest that way. So you lose the sneak, but you gain the quarterback on the edge as another runner. At the end of the day, the running back is getting it at the same distance he would, whether the quarterback was set under center or in gun. So let's keep talking about fullbacks.
James, is there anything you could tell us about KJ and what happened, and more importantly, how much does that impact your offense when he's not out there?
Well, first thing I'd like to say is I'm really proud of our guys, because when you lose a guy like KJ, and I didn't see any issues or concern. Obviously concern for KJ because that's our brother, but other guys stepped up, coaches stepped up, and did it morph us a little bit? Yeah, probably, but I don't know if it was necessarily because KJ wasn't there or we were able to run the ball. And I think obviously the depth that we have at the running back position has been helpful, and the depth at the receiver position has been helpful. So, we didn't have KJ for the rest of the game, but the feedback that we're getting is pretty hopeful that we're going to have him for next week.
Did you catch him in the hallway, even though he was kind of hyping the guys coming back and stuff?
I did not see that, no sir.
James, you've given up over 700 passing yards the last 2 weeks. You had talked during the week about what you were trying to address. What happened today? What did you see? How do you improve that going forward?
Yeah, we got to get better. There's no doubt about it. I will also say that team's done that to everybody. I think they're leading the conference in passing and one of the best passing offenses in the country. They did a really good job. A lot of it, you look at it, although they threw for that many yards, they only had 8% explosive plays. So a lot of it was dink and dunk and dink and dunk, and they did a good job with that. Can we get better there? There's no doubt about it. Obviously, we'll work on that a great deal. But again, the most important stat is we found a way to get a win.
The tackling seemed like a big issue today, like it was last week. Am I right about that, or
Yeah,
is that what you
we
saw?
got to get better in tackling as well. I think we got some guys that are throwing shoulders, and against a lot of competition that'll work. But as you continue to play really good players, that's not going to get the job done. So that is an issue in college football. That's an issue with the NFL. That's an issue we got to get better at. There's no doubt about it. I can guarantee you we'll get plenty of work on.
James, obviously Cam got to lead the guys out of the tunnel before the start of the game, Military Appreciation Day. Was that, what I guess went into that decision to let him do that? And I know he comes from a military family. I know he comes from a military family, so what were your impressions of them, in the recruiting process and stuff like that?
Yeah, for us, we try to find someone that's got a strong military background. Both mom and dad are former military, so obviously when you're able to do that, it's special. I think Penn State does this as well as anyone. I think we had 7,000. Huh? 7,500 military members with tickets to the game today. I know it's something that we take great pride in Pennsylvania, and specifically in central Pennsylvania. I know it's something that we take great pride in on our team. Those guys came out to practice the other day, the ROTC, which was awesome as well. So just proud of our guys and how they handled it.
Mark?
James, what led to today using the Levis package that you did, and the fourth down play? How did that all come together for that conversion?
So the Will Levis is something that we've kind of had mixed in, that we've been kind of doing throughout the year in practice. We just felt like, again, Sean has been a little bit nicked up, and we've been working it so in case we need to get in a situation where play him and have some running game, a little bit more, run game options, things that we'd probably like to do with Cliff, We're trying to limit some of his running in the game. That's part of it. And then what were you asking about the fourth
The
down?
fourth down, what came together there?
What do you mean, what came together? That's what I'm not sure what
And
you're asking.
where did that, was that play? Just how would you describe that?
Gotcha. Yeah, so you guys have heard me talk about this before. The quarterback running game, especially in the low red zone, especially in 4-minute, things like that, it's really important because it allows you to gain a number back. You know, so whether we're using the running back as an extra blocker or whether we're using the running back as a misdirection across the quarterback's face or whether we're reading it, it allows you to get your numbers back closer to even. So, you know, for us, when we're down there, it allows us to get downhill and be north-south. Obviously, the personnel, you know, getting some big bodies in there, be able to get some push. But I think most importantly, we were able to kind of wear them down as the game went on with our running game and with our tight ends. And, you know, had a lot of confidence. You know, obviously, there's a lot of conversation on the headset about what to do there. But again, you know, one of the main reasons that you know we're sitting here feeling good about how the game went out is because we executed it. You know, we executed at the end of the day.
Last one.
Coach Franklin, just talk about, I know you guys gave up a lot of yards passing, but your defense did not make any stupid defensive, you know, penalties or anything. Is that something positive out of, you know, the defense today?
Yeah, I think in general, you know, I think in general, you think about, you know, the scores of games right now in college football. And you think about what our defense has been able to do really all season. You know, 27 points is high for us, but still, when you look at college football in general, pretty good. And then I think the discipline is something that we take a lot of pride in. You know, I'm not really sure why there was a spike there for a couple weeks, but we've been one of the most disciplined teams in the country, and I think there's no doubt that factored in today. You know, we had the one penalty for intentional grounding, which even then, I understand why the officials made that call. It wasn't intentional grounding. From what I mean by that is we're running an option route. The guy has the ability to run a corner route or a post. Sean threw the thing on time, expecting him to run a post. He ran a corner. I also get from an official's perspective, they look back there's nobody in the area where the ball was, so I get it. I don't necessarily agree with it in theory, but how it played out, I get it. You know, so, you know, when you think about that, that's a clean football game. And we talk to our team all the time about not doing the things to get yourself beat, which is turn the ball over, penalties, things like that. We did a pretty good job managing those situations today.
Thanks, Coach.
Again, I want to thank you guys for coming out and covering Penn State football. I also want to thank all of our loyal, positive fans out there. You guys have been phenomenal. We appreciate you.